Come along with me as I tour Boxabl in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is such a fun tour to see how prefabricated homes are being built. Throughout the video, I'll tell you more about how you can take your own tour. I'm also going to share some of the spiel and the dialogue that they give us along the tour so you can feel like you're right there. So when you do a tour, you're going to be using these electric vehicles through the production facility. You get a VIP badge, put on a hard hat and a safety vest. Be sure to see the SpaceX check that is on the wall. Then you are going to be hopping on board your vehicle for a 1-hour tour.
So here at Boxabl, our mission is to build the world. And the way that we're going to do that is by revolutionizing the standard for housing construction and affordability, using an innovative technology-based solution to mass-produce homes with advanced manufacturing. And so with that said, welcome to Factory 1. This building is 170,000 square feet. We moved into it July 2021, and we started production of our 19 by 19 Casita in September 2021. And since then, we also opened up Factory 2, which is just across the parking lot in the back. That space is 100,000 square feet. And we also have Factory 3, which is just a 2-minute drive up the road, of about 400,000 square feet of manufacturing space. And we are in the planning stages for a much larger factory, which we are calling Boxzilla. And we estimate that building will be somewhere between 1 million to 2 million square feet, about 10 to 20 times larger than this building. And when that building is constructed, we plan on building larger units there as well, such as 20 by 30s and 20 by 40s. But for now, we produce the 19 by 19 Casita out of this production line. So to give you some history about Boxabl, our first project was for the US government, where we produced 156 units of the Casita, and that order has been fulfilled. We can assemble the materials needed to construct the Casita. And currently the Casita is made out of 13 structurally insulated panels. And those panels are primarily made up of 3 materials that make up the floor, walls, and ceiling for the Casita. The first material we use is right here on the ground. This one here. That is galvanized steel, and that will be the outside of the Casita. The insulation is a material called polystyrene. It's this white material right here. When it's installed, it'll be about 6 inches thick. And if you look closely at it, you'll notice all these pre-cut holes and chases that run through it. That's what makes it very efficient when it comes to the wiring for the Casita, which runs through the walls. And then for the interior, we use a material called magnesium oxide, which is like sheetrock or drywall. It's very similar to those things, but it does have special properties that make it mold, fire, water, and bug resistant. And then we also utilize some laminated engineered wood and PVC for the framing of the Casita, and that wood is never exposed. But to give you a visual for how all of this fits together, I do have a cutout sample of a Casita panel right here. Would you like to hold that, sir?
Sure.
So those are all the primary materials that we currently use in the Casita. Programmed with instructions that tell it how to automatically cut our materials down to the exact specifications we need. Now over here to the left, we have these large storage tanks right here, and a secondary one in the back over there, which we use to store a polymer-based glue. And that glue is like a super soft rubber. It's non-flammable, and it's what we use to bond our materials together. And so the glue travels from either of those storage tanks over to our glue machines. You can see them directly across from us right here. It's that square gray machine behind the glass. And there is another white unit right behind it. Can everyone see that okay? So basically these glue machines travel up and down the production line, depositing layers of glue onto the material. What our workers do is they lay down each layer of material one by one, and they allow the glue machines to pass over to deposit some glue in between each layer. And what we end up with is something very similar to an ice cream sandwich or a layered cake. And once we have all the materials bonded together to form a panel, we move that panel over to our lamination stage over here to the left, which is really that large gray machine behind the fence over there with the black and yellow tape. And that is called a vacuum press. It works very similar to a vacuum sealed bag in which the panel goes inside the machine, then the machine closes shut, and then it sucks out all the atmosphere, which creates an even pressure all throughout the panel. And that allows the glue to evenly distribute. Plus it gives our materials a proper cure. Once the vacuum press is done with the panel then goes on this white tilt table right here behind the fence. And that table does have the ability to tilt up and down, which makes it very easy to transfer our heavy panels from that table onto our rolling carts, like these carts over here to the right. And then we can move the panels all throughout the factory. However, if it's a floor or ceiling panel, on that tilting white table is where we install our steel I-beam with the hinge. And that I-beam is so important to us because of that I-beam, we're able to have a folding house that can fit within a car lane on the highway. And we're able to achieve an estimated shipping cost of about $3 to $10 per mile from this factory.
Wow.
And if you were wondering what that I-beam looks like, we have some right here on this wooden pallet down there. So it's very heavy duty. Once the I-beam is installed, we get the panel on the rolling carts and bring it over to this area on the right, which is our power stage. Here, our workers have these large spools of wiring at the end of this station, and they run those wires through the pre-cut holes and chases in the insulation for the panels that need it. So if it's a wall panel, for instance, they would also install the power outlets and the light switches at this stage. And then when the wiring process is complete, they bring the panels over here to the left, which is our mudding and sanding and painting stations. So here they mud any seams or imperfections on the interior panels and then sand them down so that we have a nice flat surface to paint on. At that point, the workers paint the interior a nice color of white. So we currently don't have any customization options. Hopefully in the future we will. But for now, the interior only comes in white, and then you can paint it whatever you like when you get your casita, basically. And this brings us to our assembly stage over here to the left, which, by the way, has 11 substations of its own. And it's really where the casita starts to take form and starts to resemble a house. If you look up above, you'll notice we have these large orange and yellow beams up here. These are overhead cranes, and they're really there for the safety and efficiency of our workers to move the heavy casita panels, which, by the way, can get pretty heavy, as you can imagine. When it's fully built, the casita weighs about 12,800 pounds. So when we started, we only had a freestanding gantry crane, and then we added these overhead cranes later for more efficiency. So we're still growing within the factory. Things are constantly shifting and changing around here. But right here under Station 2, we get a good look for the interior layout of the casita, where basically you have the kitchen on the right-hand side, and then the bathroom on the left. Right above the kitchen window is one of the appliances that comes with the casita, and it's this right here. That is called a mini split unit, and it's what will be responsible for both the air conditioning or heating on the entire inside of the casita. And we only need one mini split unit because the ones that we use are rated for 400 square feet. That's more than enough to cover the 361 square feet of the casita. Plus, all the lights will be LEDs, all the appliances will be electric and energy efficient. If you combine this with the mini split unit and our insulated wall technology, we think we can get our energy costs down to about $28 per month. So not bad. Right here under Station 5 is typically where they begin installing the roof. And once they get a bit further along, they will fold the roof onto itself into 3 layers. So it ends up looking something like this. And just like my sample here, they'll install these black rubber gaskets on the roof panels of the Casita, where it runs the entire length of the roof panels. And these gaskets become very important for when the roof folds over and closes shut. The panels will interconnect, and those gaskets are what help with the water and dust resistance. So it acts very similar to a car door closing shut if you think about it. Additionally, when the Casita is delivered to you and unfolded, kind of like this under Station 6 with the flat roof, they also install a roof liner seal on top of the Casita. It's like a TPO membrane of some kind, which is just one more layer of protection against anything coming in. But as we travel down, under Station 7 is typically where they add the rest of the outer walls for the Casita and make the cutouts for the double paned windows. We then install those windows under Station 8, as well as the window sills, the trim for the doors, and the doors themselves.
Do you know the outside square footage?
I do. It's 19 by 19 on the outside.
So 400?
Almost. It's 361 square feet. Station 9 is all about electrical, where we install the electrical panel on the Casita and test all of the electrical components before we install the roll-on adhesive vinyl flooring under Station 10 typically. You can see a roll of that material right here on the ground. So by that point, they clean up the Casita inside and out. We pack in the appliances, and then we fold up the Casita at the very end. And so it's kind of crazy, you know, prefabricated homes or manufactured homes are nothing new. Think of like trailer homes, for instance. Those things have been around for a long time. But the magic of Boxabl is that we're able to take something like this under Station 9, which measures 19 by 19 on the sides and about 10.5 feet tall. And we're able to fold it up into something like that at the end, where it only measures 19 feet on the long side, 8.5 feet on the short end, and about 12.5 feet tall. But that is slim enough to fit within a car lane on the highway. So we don't require a wide load shipping permit, and therefore we can bypass all the costs and fees associated with that to put it on the road for shipping.
So at this point, you're going to drive out of the production facility, and in your electric golf cart, you'll be driving around the outside of Factory 1, and you're going to be heading to the prototypes that they have at Boxabl. Now, these prototypes are all going to be in different styles, and then there's one main prototype, and you're going to see that in just a minute. If you're wondering about how to take a tour of your own, anybody can take a tour Monday through Friday. You do need to sign up in advance on the website. I'll tell you a little bit more information in just a minute, but I wanted to point out these are all of their casitas that have been themed in different themes. And then this is the pure white one. That's like the basic casita. So on the tour, you will be brought into the basic casita, and you will learn more about the features of this prefabricated home and see how awesome it is.
So these are 9.5 foot ceilings here. And basically what comes with the Casita is everything on the right half when you walk in. Production version may vary, but you get the appliances, cabinets, countertops, all included. And then it's the furniture on the left that is not included.
All right, so that was a quick look at the basic casita. They do have all of these themed casitas. They're all going to be the same inside, so that's why I didn't spend too much time in the white one. But it's really interesting to see how the look has a different feel with just a little bit of a decor change. And so you can go in each of these little homes. Now you can visit, this is very interesting. You can visit the basic white casita any time of the day, 24/7, any day of the week. If you are really interested in seeing more about Boxabl casitas and you're in Vegas, You don't have to sign up for a tour. It's very interesting. You can just come to their factory and you can walk through the casita anytime that you want. Now, these themed ones are going to be locked anytime that they are not in production at the facility. So these are just really quick walkthroughs. And now we are in the larger factory looking at what their casitas are going to look like when you can combine multiple ones to make a larger home. This is really fascinating.
We can get up to 12 different variations with a concept like this. We can have a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, up to 4-bedroom. A sneak peek of what we'll be offering soon.
And this would be 3 units put together?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, would it be just easy? How would it be, essentially, when we get our Boxabl, how easy would it be to just add 2 other boxes? Are y'all in that phase?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea of this concept, where you can just start with the casita and then add another module later on when you're ready for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so touring this multi-bedroom home, this was crazy. This was so incredibly nice. And right here in this bathroom, they took the shower stall out to put a stacked washer and dryer. That was a modification that they were discussing. And so there are multiple ways that you can modify the base casita to fit your needs. I mean, like they turned a bedroom into an office. Obviously, that's pretty common. But then like removing a shower stall to put in a washer and dryer and things like that. But anyways, this is combined casitas. It is crazy, and this is Vegas, so so the artwork kind of fits in Vegas. But it is really interesting how this was a fabulous home and really spacious, quite honestly. Really, really spacious when you were walking through it. There was 5 adults, like, all walking through. Was it 5 adults? Yeah, 5 adults walking through all at the same time, and plenty of room. And so I will also say that on your tour, you're probably going to be a combination of the general public and then people that are literally looking to buy casitas in a professional capacity. And that's what we found for the tour that was in front of ours, the tour that we were on, the tour that came after ours. There was always somebody coming out from the business and marketing office that was joining our tour, along with just people from the general public that wanted to see more about Boxabl. And I thought that was very interesting that they gave everybody the same type of tour in the casitas. So the tours are about an hour long. You'll see the things that I'm showing you in this video. I cut out and edited for time's sake, but there's not much of anything that you will be seeing on the tour that I haven't included in this video. So we chose a 1 o'clock tour thinking that there would be more going on in the production side, and there actually, it seemed like their lunch break was at the beginning of that tour, and then you saw people coming out about 1:30. I don't know if that was normal lunchtime, something unusual, like some type of meeting was going on that day, but just keep that in mind. If you want to see a lot of things going on in the production, you definitely want to schedule it probably in the morning, and definitely you're going to have to schedule Monday to Thursday because there is no production on Friday. There's also no tours on the weekends either. So this was just a different factory. Now we are driving back to the original production facility that we were at, driving past all of these casitas that are actually done and packaged and ready to be shipped, which was pretty cool. And then driving up into the production facility again, and then going through and seeing more things happening. Again, the workers had come back at this point, and we were seeing a little bit more of the production. Now, if you're really wanting to get some videos and photo, and that's really important to you, I'd highly suggest that you sit on the left-hand side of the golf cart, or else get that front seat, and that will be the best viewpoint for you. But they do let you take photos and videos. Keep in mind, this production facility is not by downtown Vegas, meaning like all the tourist stuff. You are going to need to go more into the factory area. So in the lobby, there was plenty of merchandise you could get. We were also gifted a free button that said I toured the Boxabl factory. So that was pretty cool. And there is free parking available while you are there doing your tour.